Hi, everyone. This is Product Fit, Airtime's podcast with exceptional product leaders telling behind the scenes stories. I'm Akos. I'm the CEO of Airtime, a user engagement platform empowering product teams to validate user needs fast and thereby increase product adoption. Today, my guest is Kesavan, the co-founder and CEO of Krita. And Kesavan, a pleasure to have you here. And let's just jump in and tell me a bit about yourself and your company.
Thank you, Akos. I'm delighted to be on this podcast. Um, uh, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Krita.ai. Krita helps companies hire talent 10 times faster. And it does that by automating the entire recruitment process using generative AI, conversations, and personalized engagement. This is my third startup. And before that, I was with Amazon, and I specialize in building software for marketing teams, HR teams, and content distribution. That's my area of specialization.
Thanks so much, and super fascinating. Can you share how you came up with the idea of your third startup? Yeah, you already had two. Now you have a third one. Where did the idea come about for Krita?
Yeah. So this was just pre-pandemic days when we had from a technology standpoint, we had a transformational moment when the transformer models in AI were emerging, and realistically, it felt that AI can start generating content. And I was already working in the HR field, and I looked at the fact that the whole recruitment process is very manual. It is very manual today also. I saw that this is going to undergo a transformation like every other function in an enterprise. But I was familiar with HR as a word. And I said that, look, this function is going to get transformed. The way people generate content, the way people run personalized campaigns and engagement. And when I saw that the AI has arrived, that's when I felt that this is a good opportunity for us to start working on the AI and bringing that AI to HR team. So that's kind of the seed. And then from thereafter, we started building on making it really work for enterprises, and it's taken us some time.
Yes, and let's just share also with the audience that you have a fantastic co-founder, Anand. Tell us a little bit about him and the story of you two, because I think it's also part of how you came to your third startup. And
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So Anand and I are classmates. We went to same college 26 years ago. We were in the same hostel.
Wow.
Yeah, we still haven't gotten bored of each other.
No,
But
my cousin is 26. When he sees this podcast, I wonder what he's gonna say.
I've had that moment, when the Techstars accelerator said that, look, I was born that year. So now, yeah, my gray
So
hair.
it's a long friendship. A lot of
Yes,
trust between the
all
two
of
of you.
us, we built a startup together and had a good exit right out of college. We worked in the same company after that again. So it's been an enduring friendship. I trust inherently Anand with technology. Anand trusts me with the ability to sell the idea, sell the product, and build an ecosystem. So that way, we both form a very good team.
Yes, it's what you just said reminded me of a previous episode I had where my guest mentioned the same thing. I asked him why does this remote setup work for him? His co-founder is in Barcelona, he's in Tel Aviv, and he said that there's like a complete trust, and in the areas that people oversee, one of them being the technical guy, the other one being the salesperson, and each of them sort of autonomously taking care of their domains and having the trust that the other person makes the right decision.
Absolutely, I agree. And Also, there is a trust that the other person will put their hand up when they need help.
Of
So,
course.
and then that goes very well. So for us, Anand and I are in two different cities, but we don't see that as a problem.
Yeah. What I'm curious about is it's the third startup that you built. And besides that, you also have years and decades of professional experience. But let's focus on the two previous startups. I'm curious of what are some key learnings, let's say top three learnings that you brought from these startups that make your life easier when you're doing your current startup.
Yeah. So each of my startup journey, I have consciously chosen tomorrow's technology as the real reason why I ventured into the startup, right? And that has not changed. So my first startup right out of college that we built with Anand was doing online events. This is in year 2000. We are talking about, and people still had dial-up modems in a lot of places, but we were trying to explore the possibility of the internet. How far can it go? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we built a fantastic software with a lot of limitations, but it was interesting enough for somebody to buy us out at that time. Right. Thereafter, in 2008, this was when you had Blockbuster still there, where you were shipping DVDs, and my startup was about digital content delivery, or OTT as it is called today, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and we said that, hey, we will help sports teams put their sporting events online, either live or video on demand. Again, it was pretty early, but I did see that there is a technology shift that is going to happen from analog to digital. Um, so, and the lesson learned there is, in both the cases, is in the first case, the lesson learned is being too early in the market is also not very helpful. Because it really it took COVID for online events to become a reality. That's 20 years down the line, right? So being too early is also not desirable for a startup. There needs to be a little bit of a reality check. But we were just kids out of college, and it didn't really cost us much to dream, right?
Yes.
The second startup was about there. I think that we got our timing a bit right, in terms of we started in 2008, which meant that by the time it was 2014, when really you had the explosion from Netflix and Amazon Prime Video and all of them, it was the right time. So, which meant that we were able to, at least through our startup, we were able to do the first sports live streaming in India, support
Wow.
cricket and World Cup live streaming and World Cup football and Olympics. A lot of work we've done, right? So the learning there, again, the startup is, the learning there is about when customers start sensing the technology shift, right, is when you
Mm-hmm.
probably need to be in the market. So you'll probably see this not through analysts talking about it, but customers actually searching for it, right? Uh,
Yes.
Analysts probably will hype up a lot of things. A few things will come as reality, but you will, in that startup, our target were media companies and sports broadcasting channels, and you go see what are they shopping for, what events are they attending, where are you meeting them, and you get a sense that what is on top of their mind. And so then you are in a way able to validate the timing. Of course, no one can get their timing right, but there are ways and means you can validate your timing. That are you too early in the market, or are you not, you're early but not too early, right? So to me, that was the second one. And the
Mm.
earlier startup, which is the third one I did, was an HR tech startup. And here again, it was those, and this was when I joined. We started that in 2016, 17, and we said that HR is going to start thinking about promoting a brand like marketing teams, and it is a reality, right? HR will start looking at reaching out to talent like how sales teams will do through CRM. We The speed matters. So when, let's say, you get the timing right, that uh, it in that case we were not very early. We were probably at the right time building the right software. Then the only thing that differentiates you is going to be speed. The speed at which you can execute, the speed at which you can launch and validate your product matters. So if you look at the learnings from all my 3 experiences, I also was the first member hired by Amazon to launch Amazon Prime Video in India. So a lot of money also helps. You can't get, as a startup founder, you can't get access to that amount of money to launch a startup. So I'll say that might not apply to 99% of the founders listening to this, or product team listening to this. But I think that validating time to market and listening to the signals is one learning. And the second is, if you do have a validation or that your timing seems right, then I think speed is what matters the most.
Yes. And let me also emphasize one more thing that I heard in between the lines, is that you were looking for not just existing demand, something that your customers need today, but you were also aiming for a demand that will continue in the future. So it's almost like a future demand of this is what they will want in the next X years. Because you may have a demand today which is acute, but then if it disappears in a couple of years, you're building on a business that has no future.
Absolutely. So Amazon has a way of stating that, where you're actually innovating on behalf of the customer. What happens is that the customer has the need, but they don't have a ways and means to articulate that need. So it comes down to, as a product leader, it comes down to what signals are you studying, and how are you interpreting those signals, and then how are you innovating on behalf of the customer, right? And that's the example I gave in the earlier startup, about OTT platform, also saying what are customers shopping, what needs, symptoms. They may not be able to exactly say, I need this software. So you are innovating on behalf of them. You are building a future solution today.
Yes. I think that's a nice closing line for this part or this topic. Let's move on to another one, and let's focus on B2B sales here, because you're in the B2B space, and what I'm interested in and what I'm curious about, when you have a premature product, what does your B2B sales process look like, in a sense that where do you convert B2B clients when the product is not yet ready to let the entire market go for it, and the product is not mature enough to sell itself in a product-led growth way?
Yeah. So there are two aspects of it. One is what we call as, again, this is training from Amazon, where within Amazon they use the phrase minimum usable product. That is typically an MVP is more around minimum viable product, which just means it is a inside view. That is, it's our view of what the product should be, right? As opposed to, if you define the term as minimum usable product, then it is about a customer's view of what the product should do at a bare minimum. Okay. Now, if you change that definition, then I think that the first version of the product that you're aiming for is the minimum usable product. And how you define that minimum usable product is you'll work with the customers to, and understand the need, and work backwards to build that product. And that is the point when the B2B sales happens. Now, the B2B sales motion happens on two fronts. When you have a minimum usable product, then your objective for B2B sales is to get customers to try out the product. When you don't have a minimum usable product, then your objective for B2B sales is to connect with the customers who resonate with the problem you're trying to solve. So one of the things that is an absolute no is you're not selling today.
Okay, so it's more like a discovery discussion that you're having around their pain points.
Exactly. You're basically, even if you had a Figma with you, without being too obsessed with what. So let me give you the example. For Krita, we underwent a pivot, and we don't have a minimum usable product in the market yet. But yesterday I had a call with a CHRO of a company who is my target customer. 90% of the discussion was about the customer. What is their recruitment process? What do they do? How do they solve? What tools do they use? I didn't even give a product demo, right? So what you're doing there is, once you have established a strong connection with the potential customer, that you empathize with the pain point, you have identified the pain point, you have found yourself a reason to go talk to the customer again to say, hey, we discussed about this. Here is something that we built that can help you, unlock, where you were stuck earlier. So that's how I think about B2B sales. When you have a product and when
Yes.
you don't have a
product. I'd like to dig into this a little bit, because when you don't have the product use case, and I'd like to ask about your take on the psychology of why does a head of HR, a chief recruitment officer, CHRO?
Talent acquisition leader.
Yes. There you go. Now you see who's the layman here in the HR field. Now, why do they take 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 45 minutes of their time to talk to you? And the reason I'm asking is because many times when I think of when I'm asking people for their time, I have this inherent feeling that I need to give something in return, because people are transactional. That's my assumption. And if I don't give something in return, I don't give my product, which saves time or budget or whatever, then why would they talk to me? And I'm curious about your take. Why do people talk to founders who don't have a product yet?
If I think that's $1 million question. If there is a proper answer to this question, I think that we have a product market fit for another product. But I can tell you, what do I do? That's the only thing I can authentically say. As any founder would do, you go through warm introduction. So people are giving you the time because you've got a warm introduction, right? So they can't say no. This is how you get started. But I use one or two tricks where at the end of the call, I ask them, can you introduce me to one more person in a similar role in your network whom I can talk to, right? So what happens is, in first degree of connection, if somebody's first degree connection, there is a bias and you really don't get much. You get value, but you really don't get a lot of value. Second degree of connection is better. Third degree of connection and thereafter is where it starts. You start getting the real signals or uncluttered, unbiased signals. So I'm trying to optimize the process to get to that third degree of connection. If you do a cold outreach for people to give you a 30-minute conversation is difficult. I haven't cracked the formula. I have tried Amazon vouchers to, saying that you will get exclusive access, you will get discounts. I've tried the transactional stuff, but they don't. So this is what I do. I try to get to the third degree by asking people to introduce to the next level of people. So it's a slow process, but I do that. The second thing I do is I attend events, if possible, in-person events in the industry, and I meet people there, and I then spend the time talking to them in person because they can't escape me there. I learned
Yes.
about one great idea, and is you have a great podcast, Akos. Let us say you go to an event that is relevant to you. You should go do a podcast there of 10 minutes, set up time with people and say, hey, come and share your story on my podcast. And it's unbelievable the number of people who will come and talk to you. Why? Because they are there. Why? Because they want their voice to be heard and they find podcast as a good medium. So this is how I have been able to reach out. Cold outreach to people to say, hey, come talk to me. I mean, imagine even, if there needs to be some connection why somebody will talk.
Yes. Yes. Okay. I have a last topic I wanted to explore with you, and it is about rebranding. Now, Krita is not the first brand name that you have for your current company, but I have like two sub questions for you on this topic. One of which is, why did you choose to rebrand your company at an early stage? And then secondly, what are the pros and cons of the rebranding that you're like enjoying or suffering off now?
Yeah. So rebranding to Krita, basically, I mean, I've been trained by a few people who are experts in the field. I wouldn't have rebranded. Brand doesn't matter. The way one of my mentors put it is, focus all your energies on the product. If the product works, brand doesn't matter. If the product doesn't work, brand doesn't matter. This is for a startup. I'm not talking about established companies, right? Established companies need to so when do you actually go build a brand? Is when you have profitable money in the bank, cash in the bank. So this is the mantra. There is only one exception to that, is when people start associating your brand with something that is absolutely not you, or something that's absolutely wrong or incorrect assumption about who you are. So our earlier brand was called iShield, and whenever I brought up the word iShield, people felt we were a cybersecurity company, and people immediately thought security, and they were not able to relate it to a HR software. And for us, it was a consistent feedback where people always associated us with something that's absolutely not us. So in a way, we were forced to think about a name and a brand that we want to, that is more relevant to what we do. Having said that, we chose Krita because we also don't want tight coupling with what we are doing today. Krita means creation. Even the word create comes from Krita. We kept it Krita because it's generic enough and it can be applied to any business. And it also gives us the room and the flexibility to pivot or to do many things under the Krita banner. So that's why we chose Krita. I think the rebranding has done us a lot of good. Because it helped us cut off from what we were doing earlier in a clean way. It helped us focus on what we are doing today without any baggage of the past. And also it gave us a fresh reason to reach out to all the people whom we reached out to in the past, saying that we are building something new and this is what is happening. So instead of telling hey, iShield has become this story, it's Krita's story and it's a new baby in the blog. So for us, I'm enjoying the process. We haven't invested a lot of money to do rebrand. I mean, we just created a logo and updated it on the website and LinkedIn, and that's it. And an email address. We are not going to spend more money than that till we have profitable money in the bank.
Got that. Excellent. Kesavan, thanks so much for sharing your insightful stories. It was a pleasure to have you here. And I'd love to have you back in a few months and see how the story of Krita unfolded. And I wish you and Anand the best of luck on your journey.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Akos.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.